It's day 101 of Hey, What Are You Doing Today? Not starting off to be the best day I've had. I woke up this morning and I started with woke up a little bit late. Didn't pull myself right out of bed. Woke up about 10 minutes late, and so start off on that foot, and then finally got on the treadmill, and I started feeling a little bit of pain in my foot. And I've dealt with injuries while running before, and I know I've been pushing myself probably faster than I should be running on a treadmill. Treadmills kind of allow us to run faster than we're really capable of sometimes. It can hurt our joints, hurt our knees, and different things like that. And I'm aware of that, but at the same time, I got to push myself. I kind of felt it a little bit yesterday, and I ran through it, and I felt it this morning, and I was like, you know what, better to get off here and not deal with an injury that might keep me from running. And I kind of went over that in my head. If that were to ever happen, then I would have to just simply find another way to exercise. Figure out, and that's not too difficult. If I do run into an injury where I have to stop running for a second, but it was almost more of an excuse just not to run. I think I was on the treadmill for about 2.5 minutes before I was finally like, okay, just get off. I even knew it then that this is just kind of an excuse I'm making because I don't want to run. And that started off the day as kind of a little failure. And then I came into work this morning, and there was all these donuts and bagels somebody had put out, and instead of going back in my mind and one of the things that I learned is strengthening the willpower every time. Every time I overcome something, every time I have the will to not do something, that power that thing has over me, I then take that power over and internalize it, and I know that, and I need to start using that more on a training level. To use my willpower to overpower my will, to use my will to overpower my urges and my desires and make that stronger. So I had a bagel and a couple little danishes, and I was like, you know what, I did my calorie count. I've already had all my calories for the day, just about. But the other thing that I thought that what's really triggering is because I've had just a little bit of a lethargy going on. It was stepping on that scale and seeing that I hadn't lost as much weight as I thought I had, or for whatever reason had gained some of the weight back. And that's such a defeating element. It's as silly as that sounds. It's one of those things that could break this whole thing if I let it. And that's what a lot of times happens to people, or I can speak in terms of myself when I'm on a diet or I'm on a training path. If I'm working hard, and then all of a sudden I see a negative result, it's kind of like, well, what's the point of this? Why am I? If my body's not going to cooperate with everything I'm doing, I might as well just give up. Oh, sorry, I got interrupted there. But anyway, the reason I'm kind of talking about that is, anytime I go on a little endeavor, a goal, and really putting myself into the achievement, there comes little ruts, little things like this that are defeating. But as long as I'm fixed hard enough on it, actually what ends up happening is something good comes from this little defeat. And I'm going through one of those defeat moments, those defeat periods, whether it be 2 or 3 days, whether this goes on for 2 weeks, whatever the case might be. I'm aware of it. I'm aware that I'm being slightly defeated. I'm going through a couple small failures, falling off the diet, not getting the run today. I'm gonna go home and try to get the run tonight. It's been 100 days and I haven't missed a run yet, so I don't want to accept a 2.5 minute jaunt on the treadmill as my daily run. So no matter how tired I am when I get home, I'm gonna try to get the run out. But that's the thing, I gotta pick myself back up. I can't just just wallow in that. That's what makes things collapse. That's what makes me quit. Is that feeling of defeat, and then just throwing everything away, everything that I've worked towards. So I've got to find the lesson, the life lesson in that, and learn from it. And you know, the thing that it kicked back immediately after I ate a couple bad things this morning was, you know, that thing I learned. I don't know if it was a month or 2 months ago or when I learned it, but I haven't really activated it too much. It's just something I'm aware of, and that's, you know, control your will and take that power that back from those things that are overpowering me, and earn that power, make my will stronger, make me stronger by making that power that's trying to get me to do something, by overcoming that power and getting it back. Sorry, a little distraction there. The other thing I wanted to talk about. Sorry, big distraction. Let me go for 1 second. Oh, back again. But anyway, just kind of jump to a different aspect. I guess the same kind of thing to kind of tie everything together is one thing that I'm kind of learning to accept is that when I make a choice to do something different, I can put as much energy as I want into moving in that direction, but the ether is really what's doling out the progress and doling out the learning and doling out the lessons. It's not something that can be rushed. It's not something that can be, you know, forced in any way. It can be encouraged, and the energy can be encouraged. But if I'm not ready, the ether's not going to give me something that I'm not ready for. And if I don't understand something, the ether's going to make me learn it in some way, shape, or form. So, you know, it's ultimately up to the ether where my progress goes, or how fast my progress goes, or what I learn, and those kind of things. I can actively be searching it, but what responds and what comes back to me is not really a choice I have. It's just the way things are. And you know, the reason I mention that is, you know, day 100, which in my mind I want it to be, you know, a big pivotal point, a big marker point, a big look back and see where I've come. Brought with it some, you know, these unique changes, these unique feelings of defeat and questions and doubt and all those kind of things that I wasn't anticipating. And even going into this morning, as I mentioned, having just a couple little trials and tribulations, all of a sudden it woke me up and realized, hey, just pay attention to what I'm doing, pay attention to these little failures, get back up and keep moving forward, and make myself stronger because of it, learn from it. The other element that was interesting was right at day 100, I was going through this thing where I was having a little bit of difficulty finding new, fresh information on the way the path had taken me before, and then all of a sudden the ether just immediately kicked me back into business study, which was where I'd initially intended on going down that road, and now it's all just the whole thing has just completely shifted back into learning about different aspects of business, learning about the way the business market is changing, especially with what's going on with technology, learning about, you know, different advancements in technology, ways to look for things that are changing. All those elements are now coming to me. However, I've got 100 days of this base, of this foundation built up as well, with changing myself, you know, on a spiritual and emotional and mental level. So I've got this one foundation that I'm growing on, and now this other building block has come back, and now I can start working on that. But it's interesting, it wasn't a choice I made, it's just kind of the way things panned out. Now the ether is flooding all this new information to me, and it's interesting because it was like this door I was having, you know, I opened this door, the other door, to all the internal changes as a human being that I need to make, and it just came flooding in, and then slowly as it dried up, this other door appeared, and I opened this other door, and now that's flooded open, all this information. I see all these different things that I want to read or look at or learn or pay attention to immediately, you know. Another thing that's happened is the ether spoke to me, and you know, the ether is also the inner voice. So, you know, when I say that, that's what I'm alluding to. It's the subconscious, whatever you wanna use as a description. That's what I use, is just the ether. That's my descriptive term for it. But it also stopped and it said, hey, for the first 100 days, you took in all these bits and pieces of information. You were opening and closing, you know, 50 different books at a time, and just getting tidbits from this book, tidbits from this book, tidbits from this book. And it told me that on this one, read one book to the finish, and then open the next piece of information, and then the next piece of information. So I'm going to concentrate on that. I don't know, like I said, you know, I'd never know where these thoughts come from. It's just a subconscious thing that pops in, and it popped in. So now I'm reading one book, instead of, you know, this book is getting tedious or boring, flip open the next book. Because that's another thing that I noticed, is that I never finished any of in the first 100 days, I never really finished any of the materials that I was working on. I got a lot of information from them. I revisited them at times, different chapters of different books, those kind of things, and reopened them and heard them again and again. But I never just opened to close, start to finish on any of the pieces. So I'm going to change the way that I'm doing that now. Something inside me tells me to find a book, get totally into that book for a day or 2, 3, whatever it takes to finish it, and then move on to the next one. And if I want to revisit it, I can do that. I haven't really thought about that. Can I reopen them? You know, that's going to be a question that I'm going to have to answer for myself. But it's a change in the concept. It's a change, so that not only is there a change in the way and the information that's coming to me, it's also changing the way that I'm going to be studying the information. So I've got this first book, and then I'm going to go to the next book, and so on and so forth. Still look for other outlets besides books, but when it comes to books, it's going to be a stay in this mode, start to finish, and end it. So some interesting ideas have come to me today, that could be potential, you know, potential small businesses. Also, just this one book that I'm listening to right now, just encouraging a lot of different ways of thinking. It's opening up. Sometimes you can almost feel like different channels in your brain opening up, you know, different patterns of thought. It's almost like you could feel your brain growing sometimes when one little thing triggers a spider web of all these new thoughts and new entities. So that's a really beautiful thing that's going on in my brain right now too. So I've got all this stuff over here, like I said, the foundation for the you know, self-development, and then all of a sudden over here is the business side starting to open up. So it's day 101, and even though I should be feeling pretty defeated about the run and the food, and you know, I was a little grumpy this morning, and you know, not getting up on time, you know, I could concentrate on all that. But what it really is I'm going through a change, and I can feel it. I'm going through another change, another advancement. And that's it. That's day 101. Hey, what are you doing today? Thanks.